Okay, this is Pavel Milnikov's sculpture, and I just walk up to it and it just kind of takes my breath away. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. We talked earlier this, in the past few days about his classical training, and it is so in play in this piece. It's absolutely gorgeous. And to carve a face not only upside down but at an angle, it's very difficult because you're not looking at it straight on, head on. So you have to get your body into crazy positions to be able to carve that. He's done a nice job of combining the like it's coming out of rock, out of stone, being carved out of stone, to give different textures and different feelings to it. The sculptors now have the titles on their pieces, and this one is called Soul Evolution. So I am looking forward to Pavel's description of soul evolution. He's working, I believe, on a third figure on the other side, so we're going to go take a look. Okay, we came around the corner of Pavel's sculpture, and yes, he does have a third figure here. Something that might happen at a point like this where there's only 3 hours left is Pavel might have had something else figured for this corner that would have taken up more time, like another figure with a complete full face. You can see that he has blocked out that the hand is going to be in front of the face, and I don't know if that's intentional. So sometimes it takes longer to carve a face. You want it so perfect, and maybe he put the hand in front of the face so it doesn't take him as much time. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that's what he did, but sometimes if I were sculpting and I'm at this point, I'm going to be looking for things that I can do faster at this point where there's only 3 hours left. All right, we're with Abe Waterman, although that's not what it says on the back of his shirt. We mentioned what a sense of humor these guys have. There's something I can appreciate so much with this sand sculpture is, first of all, just this one sculpture right here is the size of most of the other competitors, and he has two that are exactly the same size, not exactly, but two that are that big. So not only does it take so much more preparation in the pound-up process, but every surface has to be sculpted. So when you take a look at one of the other sculptures that, although it may be massive, it's just the outside of the sculpture pretty much that gets sculpted, unless they're carving through the sculpture. So he's done so many things with this. He's got two features. They're both huge. They're both sculpted inside and outside. And one of the heads is upside down, which is difficult in itself too. So there's so much going on here that I can really, really appreciate. I hope he has time to finish it nicely because I really like where he's going with it. The name of it is Dunkaroos, and I'm really curious because I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a word Abe made up, which it could very well be, knowing his creative, unique mind, or if it is something that I'm just not aware of what the word means, Dunkaroos. So I'll be looking forward to hearing his explanation. Okay, we're with Mélange Beauregard from Canada, and the first thing, I mean, this piece is stunning. I've already said how, just everything about it is just so beautiful. But what I'm appreciating right now is no, go ahead, you're fine. You can hear that loud music in the background, and she has on her earphones, and all of a sudden you might feel that there's a presence behind you, and she's, oh, there's somebody in my plot. But anyway, what I was getting at is this piece is completely 360 in a way that's different than some of the others, because although all the sculptures are 360, this one is a figure, it's a person, it's anatomy, and it's a body where everything has to be in the right place. We talked a little bit earlier about Suzanne's, where the boy's head was meeting her creature's face. They were matched up. And this is what I'm talking about. It's right over here where she's got the drill. The name of her sculpture, by the way, is Self-Builder. And she has the drill putting on a plate, part of the armor or part of the building. She's building herself. But where that drill is has to be perfect. It has to be exact. And not only does it have to be in the exact place, all this weight right in here, everything here is directly on top of here. That's the only thing holding all of this up. So you've got the placement and the configuration of trying to figure it out in the first place when you're first blocking out that it has to be in the right place. And then the degree of difficulty with the cut through that we talked earlier about. Some cut throughs are more difficult to do than others, and this one is here because it has to be here. The drill would not be connected to her body in realism, so she's done a beautiful job at separation there. And you can also see just right here, just the scoop of the dress. It's 12 to 15 tons of sand, and she's made it appear that that is a soft, flowing dress that might just maybe be made out of silk or something. So nice on the textures, and just beautiful piece all in all. Here's another thing I can appreciate about the complete 360 of Melanesia's piece. It's just the positioning of the woman. When she's blocking it out, she's planning ahead where everything is going to go, and you can just see the positioning of the left leg and the foot coming out at the bottom, and nothing is being hidden or supported by something that doesn't have to be there. Not that that's a good or bad thing, but sometimes you'll see some of the sculptures will have something supporting it because if they didn't have something there, it would collapse. Well, she's found a way to make a complete sculpture, 360, that doesn't need something like that to hold it up, and it's very difficult to plan that out, and as a sculptor, I really appreciate that. All right, we're with Joby, Jonathan Bouchard from Canada as well, and he's got, I call them lovebirds. Some people have been saying penguins, but I think they're lovebirds because on this side of the sculpture, I didn't notice this yesterday, to me it appears that the bird on the left is hugging the one on the right. And then I also get the feeling, for me, I don't know if this is intentional, that that could be an egg inside of them. And maybe it's something to do with fertility and life. I'm going to go look at the title of his sculpture. That might give me a little bit more insight to it, but I also still love to hear their inspiration and their stories behind the sculpture itself. Really nice, smooth lines. And when you get down to the bottom, you can see it's a little bit more difficult. What he's doing right now, the sand doesn't naturally fall out like it does up at the top. When they're sculpting up at the top, gravity takes all the sand down as you're sculpting it. Once you get down to the bottom, it's much more difficult. Plus you're bent over. It's not as comfortable either. Okay, we walked around and I took a look at the title, and the title of his piece is Two Energies. So I'm, again, looking forward to hearing his explanation of the sculpture. He's carved so smoothly all the way down to the bottom, which is really difficult, especially with this much sand. You look at the mass of this, it's absolutely huge. You look at the ground around him and there's not much sand left on the ground at all. It's such a pleasing to the eye, the way it flows, and just nice smooth lines, and the contrast between the hard lines and the soft lines and the different details. This is a beautiful shot of this piece right here, just absolutely stunning, very majestic, the height of it, just the details and all the different textures and features that he has in there. Absolutely lovely. All right, we're with Marianne Vandenbroek from Key West, Florida. And you can see she's starting to work on her groundwork. She's moving around sand that's on the bottom, and she'll probably take this sand over to the side, these two piles, and make maybe a block, which would be consistent to what she's doing in her main structure. When I look at this, I just think proud, how proud that figure looks. I like the pose of it. I like the angles. The sand is really good, but still, just that sheerness of all the weight and coming down from this angle here, you can see how sheer it is on this side and the other side as well. Nice and smooth. Yep, what she's doing now is figuring out how she's going to tie in the remainder of her sculpture, where you can see that soft, fluffy sand up right underneath the arm hasn't been finished yet. So she's working up to that to get a nice flow into whatever it is she's going to be doing with this pile down at the bottom.